Okay, so in this video, we are going to discuss regarding the modules of Python. So we are going to discuss what are modules in Python and how to utilize those modules in your Python program. So this is what we are going to discuss in this video. Okay, so typically we have already discussed this in your previous standard, but we are revising it. So that is why we are going to go through the module. So typically modules, when you talk about modules and you talk about modules in Python, it is typically a module is typically a Python file which contains certain functions as well as it may contain a class altogether. And from those class or from those functions which it has in that Python file, you could utilize those functions or classes or the functions of those classes or the variable of those classes in your existing program as well. So to utilize that, you just have to import those class or classes along with its functions and variables in it. Okay, so that is what you have to do while working with module. So the typical keyword in here is the import keyword in which you import your uh, any kind of module. So in this case, we are importing the math module, and with the math module, we are square rooting 16 in this one, right? And typically, this is a simple program which gives you the value of 4.0 as an output. Okay, and when we also there is another module which we have discussed in the previous standard, which was random. And when you talk about random, it is generating a random number out of a certain range. So in this case, which we could talk about, print when we talk about the print keyword or the print built-in function, it is utilizing the random module, and from that random module, it is utilizing the method random int, and the range is from 1 to 6. So it simulates the dice rule or the die rule from 1 to 6. Right? So let's try to do the practicals of this one. I figured out that most of the students, I think it's kind of kind of a trend going on in most of the schools that people do not attend the classes, or they hesitate in attending classes altogether. So regarding those things, because these are senior secondary students, um, so I would just give them as much facilitation as required, and I will just hope for the best. And whatever they do from there is up to them. Okay, so I'm not going to utilize any of the existing heavyweight uh, IDEs. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. I'm just going to use the VI editor, which is a simple text editor, just like Notepad in your Windows. So we are going to just utilize that. So I'm going to just make one file in this one, which is like modules example. Right. I'm just going to make this one modules example, and this is what we are going to do. Okay, and and if any of you want to have those live classes through YouTube, you could just comment in any one of these videos, and I will just do the live classes. Okay, it doesn't matter which school you come from or which standard you are in. Typically, if you want the live classes and if you have the access given by your guardians or you're adult enough to take that decision, then you could have the live classes through YouTube as well. Okay, so coming back to the topic, this I'm going to just make one simple file which is called modules.example.py, and I'm using the VI editor in this one. Okay, so we're going to make this one. And in here, I'm going to just type down the import keyword. import math, and then you're going to print it also as well. So math dot, you're going to use the square root function in this one, and the square root function is typically 1 6. We're going to take out the square root of 1 6, and really this will give out it would, okay, adjust my keyboard because some of my fingers are still not functional properly. It would give out output of point. And also, like, I'm going to, I'm going to merge this code as like, first I will just import math, and then I'm going to import your random. Okay. So typically why I'm doing in this way is because um, when you have to import something, typically you import at the top of the file, and then you utilize the individual programs or the functions which you have called, which it is calling it. Okay, so this will be also like what okay. We are going to utilize the uh, random class. We're going to utilize the random class, and then we're going to utilize this also. So it generates a random integer between the range you will give. That is there. Okay. So typically it will give you a simulation in this one. Simulate, hold on. Simulate ruling of a die from range 1. Okay. And now we are going to write this to the disk, which is the solid state drive, and then we are going to put it. Okay. If we are going to check, we have one more file in this one. If you want to check if the file is properly written or not, then you just type uh, the command as like instead of vi, we'll just use stat, see whether everything has been done properly. Right. So now we are going to run this one. So to run this one, I will just use the Python command, and from the Python command, we are going to utilize what? We are going to utilize your name of the file to run this, which is modules. For example, .py, and we got two outputs in this one. The first one is here 4.0 as expected because that was a square root of 16. And the second one is here 3. So 3 is still between 1 and 6. So it simulates that. You can run this again if you want. So we are getting 4.0 and 5, and then we are getting 3, 6, 4. The first value is stuck to 4, but the random one is giving a random value. Okay. Again, let's go in here and just exit in this one. And we are going to look over the modules example of this one. Okay. We are going to look over the modules example of this one. Uh, we are just going to set the number as well. So not in here, of course. It will be set number. Okay. We have something to compare with this one. So of course, in the line number 1, we are importing math. We are not doing anything with this. And in the line number 2, we are importing random library. Not a library, it's typically module in the context of Python. So in line number 1, we are importing math module, and in line number 2, we are importing your um, random module. Okay, so two modules we are importing. Now, when we are calling the individual functions inside those modules, we are using the specifically called a dot operator. We have to be careful regarding this one is because the dot operator will access either the variable or the functions which is inside that module. So we are accessing the square root function and giving it as an argument of 16 in here. So it produces 4.0. So 4.0 it has produced in every output which we can see in here, right? So we have that in there. As well as if we talk about, printing printing random numbers. So in this, we have a range of 1 to 6. We have to understand in this one is that unlike the range function, which doesn't count the upper bound of that range, this one will count the upper range. So it will start from 1 and 6. So it could bring in any numbers between 1 to 6 because the lower bound is 1 and the upper bound is 6. So we have to be careful in this one is that uh, typically we have to be careful as in that in case of rand int function, the upper bound argument is also taken into account while printing, right? So typically this we have to understand in this one. Okay, let me just break this one. While printing, and unlike the range function which ignores the upper bound argument. Okay, so this is just a simple, explanation, and yes, we have understood this one. Okay, I will do one more thing is that we're going to just, add files in there. So now you can check what are the files in there. So I'm just going to comment. So I'm recording this in your Git VCS system, which is VCS stands for like version control systems. So you're going to go with that. Okay, let's see. Okay, commit hyphen in, include examples, include examples of dictionaries and modules. Okay, so we have that. Okay, so this is typically your introduction to module. The brief revision covers the foundational tools you need. In the next chapter, we will learn how to organize these tools with the reusable box using functions. So yes, next video will be for functions, and it will be an introductory video utilizing the same content. So be available in those times. And thank you for being here. I'm going to explain more on like how to utilize it as well, and also like a short tutorial on how to utilize the AI as well. Okay, that I'm going to put in the coursework as well. So yeah, thank you for being here, and yeah, so thank you.